Hello there, this is Al24 Midnight News Edition coming to you live from Algiers. And to the headlines. Organized under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the 54th edition of Algiers International Fair kicked off today with nearly 640 local and foreign exhibitors participating. As part of his visit to Rome, Algerian Foreign Minister and his Italian counterpart renewed their commitment to the treaty of friendship, good neighborliness and cooperation. In Palestine, the death toll from Zionist's latest raid on the city of Jenin rose to 6 on Tuesday after a more Palestinian succumbed to his wounds. Hello again and welcome. Organized under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the 54th edition of Algiers International Fair kicked off with nearly 640 local and foreign exhibitors' participation in this event.
The 54th Algiers International Fair, placed under the theme Algeria Vision and New Perspectives, officially kicked off on Tuesday under the supervision of Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune. The President of the Republic, who inaugurated the fair, was welcomed by Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, General Said Shingriha, and the Minister of Trade and Export Promotion, Tayyip Zitouni, as well as the Governor of Algiers, Mohamed Abdelnour Rabhi. President Tebboune visited a number of pavilions, had conversations with few local exhibitors, and listened to their concerns. He also paid a visit to the Ministry of Defense's pavilion, where 15 economic companies are taking part in the Algiers International Fair. The fair's activities will last until the 25th of June, with a record participation of 165 foreign companies representing 30 countries. Nearly 640 Algerians and foreign exhibitors are taking part in this edition, with Italy as a guest of honor. Jordan leads this edition in terms of foreign participation with 25 companies, followed by Turkey with 22 companies and Syria with 20 companies.
President Abdelmajid Tebboune visited the Italian pavilion, which is the guest of honor of this year's edition, where he had talks with the various operators. The Algerian president praised the Italian presence in Algeria, expressing his desire to extend the successful Italian experience in Algeria in the food industry sector to other sectors.
Nous sommes très contents de ce que fait l'Italie chez nous. Très contents. Surtout avant, on était dans l'agroalimentaire. 70-75% de l'agroalimentaire, c'est l'Italie chez nous. Bon, maintenant, on passe à autre chose. On passe à l'industrie mécanique. On passe à des choses plus importantes.
Still in the Algerian matter, but this time in a different way, the Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf and his Italian counterpart Antonio Tajani renewed their commitment to the Treaty of Friendship, Good Neighborliness and Cooperation, which celebrated the 20th anniversary of the signing of this event and the beginning of this year. A statement from the Algerian Foreign Ministry which indicated that Attaf and Tajani discussed the developments of the crisis in Ukraine in light of the mediation offer made by Algerian President. Mr. Ahmed Attaf, the Foreign Minister of Algeria, was welcomed by Lorenzo Fontana, the Speaker of the Italian Chamber of Deputies, during a working trip to Italy at the beginning of his first European tour. According to a statement from the Algerian Foreign Ministry, the two sides discussed the qualitative development of Algerian-Italian relations on this occasion in a variety of fields and praised the progress made to highlight this partnership's strategic nature and their strong political commitment. In the same line of thought, the Italian Minister of Business and Industry, Adolfo Orso, reiterated that Europe is counting on Algeria to act as a driving force behind the expansion of Africa. Speaking at a press conference in the presence of Tayyip Zitouni, the Algerian Minister of Trade and Export Promotion, also stressed the strategic significance of relationship between Italy and Algeria.
We were honored today to receive the Italian Minister of Business and Industry, of who will represent the Italian government at the inauguration of the international exhibition. Through this opportunity, many issues were discussed. The trade exchange between the two countries, which is very good. The trade and economic relations that almost know an upward curve in various fields. Today in Algeria, we have become the first supplier or exporter to Europe with a volume of exchanges that exceeds $20 billion.
لأوروبا بحجم تبادلات يتجاوز 20 مليار دولار.
I have visited Algeria several times since 2001, when I was then Minister of Foreign Trade. I can testify that Algeria has really grown in recent years, and today it represents an important economy, not only for the Mediterranean region, but also for Europe, which today has to bet on the Mediterranean more than ever. And through Algeria, you bet on the growth of Africa.
Back to Algiers International Fair, the Italian minister who is visiting Algeria to represent his country as a guest of honor in this event confirmed that his country considers that the time is right for the investment and production in Algeria and making it a platform for export to the rest of the Mediterranean and African countries.
Together we can develop the whole relationship between Europe and Africa, inviting us to look beyond the import of Algerian gas, which is very important and especially for Europe. Our commercial and industrial partnership in many other sectors important to the economy in the region, we are sure that our relations will intensify increasingly on this path.
In a different matter now, during her visit to France, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that Paris and Rome agree on the need for the EU to work seriously on helping Tunisia that has witnessed an exodus of migrants to Europe. For his part, the French President Emmanuel Macron have shared the Italian minister's vision on the situation and expressed the desire to have an effective agreement with the IMF.
We are working together on Tunisia. I'm pleased to be able to do so, even with the full involvement of the European Union. Indeed, I recently visited Tunisia with the President of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, and the Prime Minister. So there is a European dimension to the desire to find a solution for a country that is currently experiencing difficulties at risk of getting out of hand. That's why, pragmatically and very seriously, we believe that we can all work together to find solutions for this country.
Cet échange nous permettra en particulier de revenir sur la situation de la Tunisie.
This exchange will give us the opportunity to review the situation in Tunisia in particular. In recent weeks, I have had the opportunity to exchange views with Tunisian President Kais Saied on several occasions, following my visit to Djerba a few months ago. You yourself have visited Tunisia twice in recent weeks. I want to say here that we have a shared vision on the urgency of the situation and of the desire to have an effective agreement pending progress with the IMF.
Morocco is embroiled in a new espionage scandal in Spain as the Makhzen regime has engaged in the practice of recruiting immigrants as secret agents to spy on Polisario Front officials. The newspaper El País said that Spain's national court has denied in a recent judgment Spanish citizenship to Moroccan national accused by the Spanish intelligence Santa of collaborating with the secret services of Rabat to spy on Sahrawis. The court judgment revealed that the CNI detected in 2010 a Moroccan spying network which collected information on the Polisario Front and the Moroccan community settled in Spain. Washington has called through the voice of U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller on the transitional government in Mali to abide by the Algiers Agreement in order to a transition to an elected civilian government by March 2024. It stressed that it welcomes more consultations among regional leaders on further steps to be taken to strengthen stability in the country. Matthew Miller also affirmed his country's concern about the repercussions of withdrawal of United Nations peacekeeping forces from Mali. In Sudan, sporadic gunfire was heard in the capital Al Khartoum, hours before the end of the 72 hours truce between the army and the Rapid Support Forces. The Sudanese army said in a statement that the Rapid Support Forces violated the truce and attacked a big area of northern Darfur state west of the country, killing 7 citizens from the area and wounding others, forcing them to move to armed forces headquarters. Same line of thought, the United Nations Refugee Agency reported that the number of people who have fled the fighting in Sudan was now more than 500,000, while 2 million are internally displaced. The head of the United Nations Refugee Agency said that world needs to rediscover its ability to bring peace to various trouble spots in order to curb the growing flow of refugees.
Right on World Refugee Day, we passed this horrible mark of 500,000 refugees from Sudan. And we know why. The fighting is really generating this huge exodus, and if there is not going to be a sustainable ceasefire and then peace, I don't think that we will see an end to it. People will continue to be displaced inside or go outside. In fact, in addition to the 500,000, there are almost 2 million that have moved inside the country because they have nowhere else to go.
A total of 6 people, including a child, have died in aftermath of the Jenin camp raid, in which Zionist forces used helicopters to strike targets in the West Bank. Mariam Zian in this report.
Despite being admitted to the hospital for treatment after being shot in the refugee camp in Nablus, Amjad Abu Jaz died of his injuries. He was the father of Wassim Amjad Jaz, who was killed earlier this year in the same place. Elsewhere in the West Bank, 20-year-old Zakaria Muhammad al-Zawoul was also killed by Zionist forces during clashes with Palestinian residents in the town of Husan, west of Bethlehem. In addition, more than 90 people were wounded, including over 20 in a critical condition. In total, heinous Zionist military assaults have resulted in the death of 170 Palestinians in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip since the start of the year. In reaction to these ongoing heartbreaking scenes, many have denounced the violations of the Zionists, including Arab countries, France, and international organizations. However, the Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs considered these reactions as near to the ground, saying that they do not reflect the suffering of the Palestinians in the face of the continued occupation and settlement. Similarly, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh called on the European Parliament to take serious steps to punish the Zionist entity for its crimes against the Palestinian people.
Still in Palestine, the far-right Zionist Minister of National Security called on the Prime Minister to launch a full-scale military operation in the West Bank. During the press conference, the Zionist official revealed instructions to the military and security services to take offensive actions wherever there is a threat, as he put it. Moving on now to Europe, the Secretary General of NATO said that NATO is not party to the war in Ukraine, stressing that the alliance stands for its right to self-defense.
And today, Russia's brutal and indiscriminate attacks on Ukraine and Ukrainian cities show even more clearly the importance of air defense. NATO is not party to the conflict. We stand by Ukraine in its right to self-defense, a right which is enshrined in the UN Charter.
In its latest press briefing, the EU presented a plan to assist Ukraine with 50 billion euros cut into three parts for 3 years, going from 2024 to 2027. Ursula von der Leyen, European Commission President, stated that the aim behind this aid is to reinforce Kiev's private sector and clear its financial path toward joining the EU bloc.
We propose a financial reserve for the next 4 years of 50 billion euro. This includes both loans and grants. The reserve will provide, first of all, a perspective for our partners in Ukraine, predictability, and it should also incentivize other donors to step up too.
Within the Ukraine Recovery Conference that is being held in London on Wednesday and Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken declared that the United States will deliver a new assistance package to Ukraine with the aim of encouraging private companies to invest again in Kiev.
President Biden said from the outset of Russia's aggression against Ukraine that we would stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes, and both of our countries are deeply committed to that. We will continue to deliver on that commitment, including through a new robust U.S. assistance package that I'll be able to announce tomorrow.
Coming to the closure of our news bulletin, friendly game that ended in 1-1 draw. Montasser Talbi scored the first goal on the 30th minute of the game for the Tunisian team, followed by a goal from Riyad Mahrez from the penalty spot at the 38th minute, who made it the final score 1-1. Jamal Belmadi Cubs are having a solid performance recently within all their games, either officials ones or the friendly games as well. Tunisia, on the other hand, are preparing for their next game in AFCON 2024 qualifiers after scoring a defeat against Equatorial Guinea last Saturday. In sports, police searched the headquarters of Paris 2024 Olympic Organizing Committee on Tuesday as part of an investigation into alleged theft of public funds and favoritism. According to the National Financial Prosecutor's Office, the headquarters were raided as part of a preliminary investigation launched in 2017. The latest executive director of the Olympic Games press briefing indicates that nothing has been confirmed in relation to these allegations, but the investigation is still ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for being with us. For more updates, you can follow our social media platform. And all I can say at the end, take care of yourself. Good night.